The board will now come to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Tyus.
Present.
Alderwoman Middlebrook.
Present.
Alderman Bosley. Alderwoman Evans.
Present.
Alderman Page.
Present.
Alderwoman Negracia. Alderman Coder. Alderwoman Rice.
Present.
Alderman Gunther.
Here.
Alderman Vollmer.
Present.
Alderwoman Martin. Alderman Stevens.
Present.
Alderwoman Schweitzer.
Present.
Alderwoman Howard.
Here.
Alderwoman Green.
Present.
Alderman Oldenburg.
Present.
Alderwoman Peel. Alderman Todd.
Present.
Alderwoman Davis.
Present.
Alderwoman Spencer. Alderman Collins Muhammad.
Here.
Alderman Boyd.
Present.
Alderman Vaccaro.
Present.
Alderman Ryan. Alderman Cone. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard.
Here.
Alderwoman Boyd.
Present.
Alderwoman Navarro.
Present.
President Reed.
Here.
Alderman Bosley. Alderwoman Negracia.
Present.
Alderman Coder. Alderwoman Martin.
Present.
Alderwoman Peel. Alderwoman Spencer. Alderman Ryan.
Present.
Alderman Cone. 24 present.
Quorum being present, I don't think the pastor has joined us yet. So
President Reed, there's Pastor Howard is on.
Pastor Howard is on. Quorum being present, we will be led today in prayer by Pastor Ernest Howard from Zion Temple, which is located in the beautiful 4th Ward. Pastor Howard.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity, Father. We thank you for allowing us to gather here, God, to make decisions, to cause great impact upon the city. God, you've already given us wisdom, but we ask for more wisdom. We ask for more understanding as we go out throughout this meeting, God. And God, this weekend we are observing the memorial, and we're praying for all those veterans and all the soldiers that have given their lives for. We just thank you, God, that how you keep protecting us and keeping your loving arms around us and guarding us as a city. Now, God, as we put our minds together, we ask you to intervene and give us clarity of thoughts so that we may progress and do those things that are pleasing in your sight. Bless each and every one of the persons that are under the sound of my voice, that they may be inclined to receive all that you have for us in this moment at this particular time. And we thank you for the leadership of our city and even the citizens that are residing here. We thank you for them, and we give you glory now. In the matchless name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Join me in a round of applause for Pastor Howard. You're a young man too, so I appreciate that. Thank you so much for those nice words to open us up in prayer today. And we invite you back to lead us in prayer again in the future. Thank you so much, Pastor Howard.
Thank you, sir.
We will dispense with line item 3. Introduction of honor guests. Introduction of honor guests. Alderman from 23rd.
As always, I would like to have my friend Greg Meyer as my honored guest today.
Greg Meyer, welcome. Alderwoman from the 26th.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I would like to have as my honor guest my baby Atala Aziza. She's out of school. She completed her 9th grade year, her first grade of high school during the pandemic. So she's my honor guest today.
All right.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us today. Alderwoman from the 4th.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. My honored guest today is Julia Allen, who is an avid participant of the 4th Ward. Julia Allen, and also one of my developers, Laura Hughes, and the Lobster Brothers, and Mike Burns.
So Julia, Laura Hughes, the Lobster Brothers, and Mike Burns. Let's give them a round of applause. Thanks for joining us today. Alderwoman from the 19th.
Thank you, Mr. President and members of the board. I am giving, as my guest, also thanking them and giving them recognition. I have 2 Asian businesses in the 19th Ward who have been here, one 35 years and the other one 40 years.
Oh,
so
wow.
Johnny Wong with Sunshine Chinese Restaurant, and also at Grand Wig with Lee and her husband. I want them to be my guests. I went and told them that earlier in the week, and also recognize our one of our recent Asian residents who moved into a Habitat home just a couple of years ago in the Tiffany neighborhood. So I just wanted to say hello to them and give them the honor today. Thank you.
So it's Johnny Wong, Lisa, and the resident in the Tiffany neighborhood.
Right.
Give them a round of applause. Thank you for joining us today. Alderwoman from the 1st.
I'm sorry, Mr. President. I was just wanted to inquire of the Alderwoman from the 19th. Is Sunshine Restaurant the one right at Washington and Grand, or is it a different one?
It is the one you're thinking about. They're at Washington and Teresa, yes.
Okay, and I would like to also add them as my honored guest. For many years when I worked at St. Louis University, I ate there for a lot of years. He's a very kind gentleman. And I think I want to thank Alderwoman from the 19th during this month of Asian American celebration, and also the fight against Asian American hate and violence. I think that was a marvelous idea to have him as guest. And I just like to add him as my guest also.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Any further introductions? Alderman from the 10th like to wrap us up.
Mr. President, members of the board, we're here on May 27th. This is Great Popsicle Day. More importantly, on 1937, the Golden Gate Bridge opened. And on this day, Walt Disney released the Three Little Pigs cartoon featuring the Alderman from the 23rd's favorite song, Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf?
So before we begin, first let me apologize to everybody. I had planned to get the email out Friday to all of you all about us coming back. I got it out a little bit late. But I want to also thank each and every one of you who have replied thus far. I think we had 19 to 20 responses already. So if the other people who haven't responded, if you want to respond, it's kind of important because what we're doing is collecting all that information and we're taking it up in next week's personnel meeting, right? So all of this was to get us all of the background information for next week's personnel meeting, where we will look at a plan to come back. So we plan to, hopefully that will be not next Friday, but the Friday after is when we will come back to sessions at the full board. But we don't want to do that without a plan and without, taking in to consideration all the concerns. So again, it'll be at next week's personnel meeting. Approval of the minutes.
Approval of the minutes dated May 21st, 2021.
Alderman from the 10th, you recognize on approval of the minutes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the board, I move for approval of minutes from May 21st, 2021.
Moved by the Alderman from the 10th.
Second.
Seconded by the Alderman from the 1st. Messing with you, Alderman from the 1st. Seconded by the Alderman from the 14th.
We do sound alike.
I did it backwards last week.
We look and sound just alike.
Yeah, I did that for your edification. Seconded by all one from the 14th. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Report of city officials.
Report of city officials can be found in A, B, and C of the agenda and has been placed in the Alderman's mailboxes.
We dispense with line item 7. Would anyone like to take any bills or resolutions off of any of our informal calendars? Would anyone like to take any bills or resolutions off of any of our informal calendars? We will dispense with line items 8 through 10. First reading of board bills.
Board Bill 36, sponsored by Alderwoman Middlebrook, and ordinance recommended by the Board of Public Service to conditionally vacate above surface, and subsurface rights for vehicle, equestrian, and pedestrian travel. Prescott from East Clarence and East Atheline, East Holly from Board to Prescott, the 20-foot wide L-shaped alley in City Block 3447 as bounded by East Clarence, Board, East Holly, and Prescott. The 20-foot wide East-West alley in City Block 3444 as bounded by East Holly, Board, East Atheline, Prescott in the City of St. Louis, Missouri, as hereinafter described in accordance with Charter Authority and in conformity with Section 1.4 of Article 21 of the Charter and imposing certain conditions on such vacation. Board Bill 37, sponsored by Alderman Vaccaro, and ordinance adopting the 2018 International Plumbing Code with amendments repealing Ordinance 69255 and containing a penalty clause, severability clause, savings clause, and an emergency clause. Board Bill 38, sponsored by Alderman Muhammad, and ordinance submitted to the qualified voters of the City of St. Louis, proposed amendment to the Charter of the City of St. Louis to maintain the Board of Aldermen as a body of 28 aldermen representing 28 wards and preventing its reduction beginning December 31st, 2021 to a body of 14 aldermen representing 14 wards as called for under Article 1, Section 3 of the City of St. Louis Charter, providing for an election to be held for the voting on the proposed amendment and the manner for the voting, and for publication, certification, deposit, and recording of this ordinance, and contain an emergency clause. Board Bill 39, sponsored by Alderwoman Martin, an ordinance adopting the Uniform Plumbing Code 2015 edition in full except as it conflicts with the changes thereto containing herein as the Plumbing Code of the City of St. Louis, repealing Ordinance 69255 and containing a penalty clause, severability clause, a savings clause, an emergency clause, and a codification clause. Board Bill 40, sponsored by Alderwoman Tyus, Alderman Todd, and Alderman Vaccaro, an ordinance amending sections 2 and 3 of ordinance numbers 70333 and containing an emergency clause. Board Bill 41, sponsored by Alderwoman Tyus, an ordinance to protect the public health, safety, and welfare by prohibiting the use of alleys by operators of motor vehicles for drive-through traffic in the following neighborhoods: Kingsway East, Kingsway West, Penrose, Mark Twain, requiring the posting of those allowed to use the alley, containing a penalty clause and an emergency clause. Board Bill 42, sponsored by Alderman Collins Muhammad, an ordinance approving a redevelopment plan dated August 25th, 2020 for the scattered areas in the College Hills neighborhood. That is the extent of first reading of board bills.
Reference to committee.
To the Legislation Committee, Board Bill 38. To Public Safety, Board Bill 37 and 39. To the Streets Committee, Board Bill 36, 40, and 41. And to Neighborhood Development, Board Bill 42. That is the extent of reference to committee.
Second reading.
The following board bill was reported out of Transportation and Commerce Committee with a due pass recommendation. Board Bill 9, sponsored by Alderman Cone, an ordinance recommended and approved by the Airport Commission, the Comptroller, and the Board of Estimate and Apportionment, making certain findings with respect to the transfer of up to $13,727,769 of excess monies that the City of St. Louis intends to transfer from the Debt Service Stabilization Fund to the Airport Revenue Fund during the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2020, containing a severability clause and containing an emergency clause.
Move the special line item 14, perfection consent.
Board Bill 3, sponsored by Alderwoman Clark Hubbard and Alderwoman Ingracia, an ordinance recommended by the Board of Estimate and Apportionment authorizing and directing the Circuit Attorney on behalf of the City of St. Louis to enter into a grant agreement with the United States Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Assistance, Office of Justice Programs for funding to create the St. Louis Circuit Attorney Navigation, Diversion, and Opportunity Program 2019 AR BX KO18, and authorizing the Circuit Attorney to expend related grant funds necessary to support this effort, including hiring staff and program development resources, and containing an emergency clause. Board Bill 4, sponsored by Alderwoman Clark Hubbard and Alderwoman Ingracia, an ordinance recommended by the Board of Estimate and Apportionment authorizing and directing the Circuit Attorney on behalf of the City of St. Louis to enter into a grant agreement with the United States Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Assistance, Office of Justice Programs to fund innovation, prosecution solutions for combating violent crime grant program 2019 YXBX0021, and authorizing the Circuit Attorney to expend related grant funds necessary to support this effort, including hiring staff, program development resources, and containing an emergency clause. Board Bill 12, sponsored by Alderwoman Howard, an ordinance prohibiting the issuance of any packaged liquor licenses for any currently non-licensed premises within the boundaries of the 14th Ward Liquor Control District as established herein for a period of 3 years from the effective date hereof, containing an exception allowing during the moratorium period for the transfer and renewal of existing licenses under certain circumstances and the issuance of a drink license at previously non-licensed premises, and containing an emergency clause. Board Bill 23, sponsored by Alderman Vaccaro, an ordinance recommended by the Board of Estimate and Apportionment, wherein the Board of Aldermen authorizes the receipt of and appropriates funds granted through the United States Department of Health and Human Services for emergency medical services, and containing an emergency clause. Board Bill 27, sponsored by Alderman Vaccaro, an ordinance recommended by the Board of Estimate and Apportionment, and authorizing the police commissioner on behalf of the City of St. Louis to enter into and execute a grant agreement with the Missouri Office of Crime Victim Services to fund the Protection Program for Witnesses of Violence grant program, appropriating funds therefore, and authorizing the police commissioner or his designees to enter into contracts and expend the funds to the extent received, containing a severability clause and an emergency clause. That is the extent of perfection consent calendar.
Alderman from the 10th, you recognize on the motion for the perfection consent calendar.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I move that we approve the perfection consent calendars.
Moved by Alderman from the 10th, entertain a second.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Alderman from the 23rd. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Clerk.
That is the extended perfection consent calendar.
Board bills for perfection.
We have none.
Third reading consent.
Board Bill 13 committee sub and Board Bill 14 committee sub.
Alderman from the 10th, you're recognized on the motion for the third reading consent calendar.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I move that we approve the third reading consent calendar.
Second.
Moved by the Alderman from the 10th, seconded by the Alderman from the 9th. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Tyus.
Aye.
Alderwoman Middlebrook.
Aye. Aye.
Alderman Bosley.
Aye.
Alderwoman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Page.
Aye.
Alderwoman Ingracia.
Aye.
Alderman Coder. Alderwoman Rice.
Aye.
Alderman Gunther.
Aye.
Alderman Balmer.
Aye.
Alderwoman Martin.
Aye.
Alderman Stevens.
Aye.
Alderwoman Schweitzer.
Aye.
Alderwoman Howard.
Aye.
Alderwoman Green.
Aye.
Alderman Oldenburg.
Aye.
Alderwoman Peel.
Aye.
Alderman Todd.
Aye.
Alderwoman Davis. Alderwoman.
Aye.
Thank you. Alderwoman Spencer.
Aye.
Alderman Muhammad. Alderman Boyd.
Aye.
Alderman Vaccaro.
Aye.
Alderman Narayan.
Aye.
Alderman Cone. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard. Alderwoman Boyd.
Aye.
Alderwoman Navarro.
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye.
Alderman Coder. Alderman Collins Muhammad. Alderman Cone. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard.
Aye.
26 aye votes.
A vote, staying the motion, Alderman from 10th and 3rd read and filing past the aforementioned bills. 3rd reading, report on engrossments.
Board Bill 13 committee sub and Board Bill 14 committee sub.
There is a section missing on this agenda. There is a section missing on this agenda. Madam Clerk. So that should be report of enrollment. That should be report of engrossments and final passes.
The one section was duplicated.
Yeah. So, but I think everybody knows what it is. All other business being suspended, the president shall in open session affix his signature hereto to the end that these may become law. Alderwoman from the 17th, I understand you want to suspend the rules. introducing a courtesy resolution.
That courtesy resolution was for going to come up on June 4th.
Okay, all right, so we do it later. Yeah. All right. Alderman from the 19th, recognize on the motion for the courtesy resolution.
Mr. President, members of the board, I move that we adopt our courtesy resolution calendar.
Moved by the Alderman from the 19th. Entertain a second on that motion.
Second.
Second.
Let's do that one more time.
Second.
Second.
Alderman from the 4th, I think.
Yeah, it was the 4th and a couple other people in there. Alderman from the 23rd, you have your hand up for us.
Yeah, just on resolution 30, I'd like to make a motion. We do that in bank.
Objection.
There's been an objection for that.
Must be crazy.
Well, I don't know. You'd have to ask my psychiatrist.
No back and forth conversation because we are still in full meeting. Alderman from the 23rd, would you like to be added to resolution 30?
Yeah, just go ahead and add my name.
Okay.
I would like to be added also, Alderwoman from the 14th.
Okay,
Alderwoman from the 4th would like to be added as well.
4th.
Please add the 10th also, thank you.
10th.
28th.
28th.
6th ward, please.
6th.
24.
I'd like to make a motion to in-bank.
It's been moved that we bank, and then anyone that would not want their name on it, they can just notify the clerk. It may be easier to do it like that.
Point of order.
Yeah.
Point of order.
Yeah.
We've already moved and there was been objection, so there is no embankment. So even if they come back with a second time, there's still the objection. So people either have to add their names one at a time. So there cannot be an embankment.
Alderman from the 1st, you are technically correct on that. We can do it everybody one at a time, but it appears that you with a couple others may only be the ones that would like to have.
I understand, but there is no embankment. And if you want me to speak to why I'm opposed to it, I will. I think you guys want to just let it go.
Yeah. So let's go down the list. Madam Clerk, who do you have thus far?
They said they got to take it to the person.
Madam Clerk?
Can we just do a roll call vote? If you want your name.
No, let's just get this over with it.
So far, I have President Reed, Alderwoman Davis, Alderman Coder, Alderman Vaccaro, Alderwoman Navarro, Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, Alderwoman Howard, Alderwoman Evans, Alderman Balmer, Alderwoman Ingracia, Alderman Narayan, Alderwoman Schweitzer, Alderwoman Rice, Alderwoman Spencer, Alderwoman Green, Alderman Stevens, and Alderman Gunther.
Right. Anyone else like that?
Alderman Boyd.
Alderman from the 22nd.
Alderman from the 16th, please.
And Alderman from the 2nd.
Alderman from the 18th.
Alderman from the 18th.
I don't even, was my name in there? Sorry.
Alderwoman from the 11th. Yeah. Yes. Alderwoman from the 11th. Who else?
7.
Alderwoman from the 2nd. I think.
Alderman from the 5th. I did not hear my name called.
The 5th. Any further? I think we may have everyone. If you did not hear your ward called, please speak up at this point. Otherwise, we're moving on.
You had Alderwoman from the 17th.
Alderwoman from the 17th. Right. Thank you all. Madam Clerk, would you like to read back those ward numbers real quick?
Yes. President Reed, and I'll just read out the ward number you said.
Yes.
19, 7, 23, 24, 26, 14, 4, 10, 6, 24, 13, 8, 20, 15, 12, 9, 22, 16, 2, 5, 17, 18, 11, and 27.
All right. I think you got it. All right. It's been moved and seconded that we adopt our courtesy resolutions calendar as amended. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. First reading the resolutions.
Resolution 32, sponsored by Alderman Todd, applying the cost of demolition of vacant buildings to their restoring vacant buildings.
Alderman.
First of all, good morning. Thank you very much. This resolution will use money that has been used in the past to tear down houses, will be given to residents or developers or families to fix up vacant houses. This will help reduce school closing because of the fact that some schools are closed because sometimes we don't have enough children to go to those schools. Reduce food deserts because if you have home ownership and a lot of people living in areas, the more people you have, the better the chances are that that grocery store will open up in your neighborhood. It will increase property values because of the fact that when we see boarded up buildings and lots and not taken care of, property value goes down. So it will keep families together. Houses and jobs is what keep families together because they need a place to live. It will reduce homelessness because it's a shame we tear down houses. What kind of society do we live in? We tear down houses when we have people don't have any place to go. That is a crime. That is a shame. That is a sin. And we pray, but we need to start taking some action and living according to the prayers we usually say, which is about Jesus. And this will also create jobs because people could fix up those houses. It is cheaper to fix 3 walls than it is and no basement than it is to tear down a house. And we would also, it would reduce crime because people would be working. In addition, we need to think about saving those houses because many years ago, in the early 1900s, there were many fires in the cities. St. Louis didn't have a lot of fires because of the fact that we had brick houses. So we should think about that. Plus, we have such beautiful houses throughout the city. I know because I've been canvassing for many years, and we also save our environment because of the fact that we use up unnecessary wood and other materials that is not renewable. We need to stop wasting and use what we got. And these houses last for years. I know because I got one. So and also what happens is that it can teach some people who are interested in making small repairs that do not violate the city codes. They can learn something from it, and then it teaches skills because tuck pointing used to be a big skill. It's not as much of a skill now because a lot of those houses are torn down. So basically, the resolution is that whereas it costs approximately $27,000 to tear down a vacant building, whereas tearing down a vacant building may have asbestos, cancer, that is a cancer-causing agent. Whereas asbestos causes pneumonia, cancer. Let it be resolved that by giving an individual, family, or developer the money that would cost to tear down a building to fix it up, the city would save lives, improve health, stabilize the community, beautify the community, increase taxes for the city, decrease crime, and make the community safer and more beautiful. So that's my resolution. I'm asking that I get a vote on it. Mr. President.
Are you wanting to vote this out today or send it to committee?
I want to vote it out today, Mr. President.
Okay, would you like to request unanimous consent?
Yes, sir, Mr. President. I would like to request unanimous consent.
Hearing no objection, Alderman, would you like to make a motion to have it adopted?
Mr. President, I would like to make a motion to have this resolution adopted.
It's been moved by the Alderman from the 18th, seconded by the Alderwoman from the 4th. Any discussion? Alderwoman from the 19th.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I am very interested in this resolution, and I really believe it's most appropriate to assign it to a committee so that we can make sure that we identify all resources that are available and give a process to the suggestions of this resolution. I was on a call earlier today for a new initiative that could help with that. And I do know that we probably have, if I just think real quick, about 4 or 5 different development programs that we could get funds from. So I just want to make sure that we give it all the appropriate attention that is required so that it don't just linger out there and maybe not be successful. Thank you.
Right. Any further? Alderman from the 1st.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. If the sponsor would yield, or can I ask him to yield doing no, we're having a conversation about whether we should do unanimous consent. So I guess I shouldn't ask the sponsor to yield. I think this is so appropriate that this comes right after the previous consent for Otis Williams. I actually wrote up something regarding this back in 2013 when I came into office. I sent it to Otis Williams with a written program, which he said, oh, this is a great idea. And let me get back to you. Staged, what did Snaggletooth used to sell? Exit to the right or whatever, never did a thing about it. It has a lot of good ideas. The only concern I would have is that there are some buildings that cannot be saved, or that they have to be done. If you were going to try to save them, they would have to be done immediately. As I understand, as I read this resolution, it doesn't say we go into a program. It says that the St. Louis Development Corporation is to study whether a program, the city could put together such a program. And that I am in complete agreement with. How they do it and the parameters surrounding it, that's something that maybe the St. Louis Development Corporation and the building division could get together with. But I agree with you that we should be restoring as many houses as we can instead of tearing them down. And rehabbing them is a very good idea. My program was a urban homesteader program that I wrote up, and I'll share it with you, Alderman, from the 18th, in which we let the people go in and we get it to a certain stability, and maybe we put a kitchen or a bathroom in it. And then we let people do what people did in the Central West End when they first started doing the Central West End. If you talk to the former mayor of the city who was from the 28th Ward, the Alderman, Vince Shamel, he will tell you stories about them coming and being urban homesteaders. I myself, my husband and I, we came into our house and we were urban homesteaders and didn't have a kitchen or a bathroom. Well, we had to put a bathroom in before we could move in. We didn't have a kitchen, and we redid our house piece by piece. So there is most certainly a benefit in doing this kind of things. And one of the reasons that I couldn't celebrate Otis Williams is because he did not have a clue about trying to work on these kind of things as it related to North St. Louis. And most of the buildings, many of the buildings are being torn down in North St. Louis, will not be able to be replaced. So I understand where the Alderwoman from the 19th would say, well, we need to flesh out all the details in a committee, but I also believe they could be fleshed out with SLDC working with the the Department of Public Safety. So Alderman, I am going to support your request and hope that that it be sooner than later that they come up with some kind of program. And I'll share the things that I already was working on with the previous administration about how we could do rehab. I've been doing rehab since 1979. I've done a lot of buildings in Hyde Park, and it is a very good idea to, instead of tearing buildings down, if we can save them. And I think that SLDC would be able to come up with a program that would say, or the public safety director, public safety of the building division, that there are certain buildings that cannot be saved, and we are going to target those. And then there are certain buildings, if the person is going to get any kind of funds to fix them up, they have to commit to doing it immediately, not wait until it gets worse. But those are all kind of things that could be flushed out with joint effort. And I am going to support your request for unanimous consent. I have no further.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Alderman from the 18th, you recognize to close.
I would like to close by making a motion that that this be passed by unanimous consent, Mr. President.
All right, it's already been moved by the Alderman from the 18th, seconded by the Alderman from the 4th, that we adopt this resolution 32 via unanimous consent. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. No.
No.
Motion carries.
That is the extent of first reading of resolutions.
Second reading.
Resolution 24, sponsored by Alderman Narayan. President read and the following alderpersons: Tyus, Middlebrook, Bosley, Evans, Page, Ingracia, Coder, Rice, Gunther, Balmer, Martin, Stevens, Schweitzer, Howard, Green, Oldenburg, Peel, Todd, Davis, Spencer, Collins, Muhammad, Alderman Boyd, Vaquero, Cone, Clark Hubbard, Alderwoman Boyd, and Navarro, condemning recent hate crimes committed against Asian American and Pacific Islanders.
Alderman from the 24th, you recognize on first reading resolution 24.
Thank you, Mr. President. Although I do believe this is second read, yes. First off, I'd just like to thank all of my colleagues here for signing on to this. I don't want to belabor the point now that this has been first read and gone through committee, and every one of you has signed on to it. But I'm sure that you're all aware that over the last year, we've seen just a dramatic increase in these numbers of hate incidents and hate crimes directed towards the Asian American Pacific Islander community. This resolution from members of the community that I've spoken with, it's going to encourage reporting, which is a big problem that we have. Even the numbers that we do have on this, we know that there's been a large uptick. We also know that we're not capturing a huge percentage of these incidents. And I think above all, if we don't have a good data set, it's hard to really know the path forward on anything. And so this resolution is going to encourage folks to come and actually report when one of these incidents happens. We'll have a better data set. We'll have a better path forward on how to move forward from here. So thank you all. And with that, I would move that we adopt resolution 24.
Second.
All right, it's been moved by the Alderman from the 24th, seconded by the Alderman from the 12th. Any discussion? Any further discussion? Alderman from the 1st. Alderman from the 1st.
I'm sorry, Mr. President. The Alderman from the 8th had her hand up first, so if you don't mind, but I'll speak first. But it may be 2 hours.
Alderman from the 8th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to.
That way, the Alderman from the 1st may shorten her 2 hours.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Alderman from the 24th. for bringing this forward as the first Asian American member of our body. This is very important to be highlighting, and just want to take a moment to celebrate you as we are continuing forward and wrapping up this Asian American History Month. Your accomplishment of being here with us on this board is significant, and I want to thank you for all of the work that you do for your ward and for the Asian American community here in St. Louis. And yeah, so thank you. And also thank you for especially bringing this forward in this time. You know, this last 18 months, period of the pandemic has been so difficult for so many around the world, and looking for blame within communities that folks may think that that the virus came from or whatever is just really not the right way to continue forward and process our grief and pain as a collective, as we have all suffered through the pandemic. So I just want to take another moment to encourage the community of St. Louis to remember the spirit of togetherness, the ways that we came together as communities throughout the pandemic, and not looking for ways to blame anyone for why this came forward. Scapegoating or blaming any particular communities or folks who look different than you is never the way to go forward. And especially here in this time, just want to take a few more moments to highlight that and to encourage our Asian American community just how incredibly valuable you are to the city of St. Louis. I am thrilled to represent parts of South Grand and the incredible revitalization work that was done by Asian Americans and refugees that we as a city welcomed in with open arms to really revitalize this area of our city. And thank you for everything that you bring to us through your culture, through just being with us, but also special highlights to the wonderful food and cuisine that you've brought have also elevated our city as one of a premier food destination in the Midwest. So that we know that Asian Americans are much more than just the restaurants, but I do want to highlight that is an incredible contribution to our area, and in the tech community as well, in the medical community, in business. Thank you to the Asian American Chamber, the Chinese cultural centers. I mean, just to go on and on. We have incredible communities, and just want to say thank you and continue to highlight all the good work as we wrap up Asian American History Month. So thank you again, Alderman Narayan, for providing us this opportunity.
Alderman from the first.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I also want to thank the Alderman from the 24th Ward for bringing this resolution. I'm so fortunate, the Tyus Miller family, we have Hispanic Black Americans, we have Asian Black Americans. People don't know about the different kinds of people. So in my family, we have quite a few Asian Americans. They call themselves Asian African Americans, but they are Asian also. Their mothers are Asian. And so the good thing about having many different cultures in your family is you learn how to get along and move along and not try to do stereotypes. Positive stereotypes or negative. One of the things that the Asian Americans enjoy is that they have this positive stereotype that everybody is so smart that when somebody doesn't measure up to that, there's another cost to be paid with that. And so, I've heard that within just family discussions and family dynamics. I was fortunate enough to be here when South Grand was being done. And I know the pushback that came from people who were trying to do South Grand. And that was Marty Abusi, who was the alderman from the 9th, and Geraldine Osborne, who was the alderwoman from the 15th. They took a lot of slack and people didn't quite understand it. At that time, I lived in, before that, I had lived in South St. Louis, and I watched people do a pushback because when new cultures come in, a lot of times people get scared. But at the end of the day, Asian Americans saved South Grand, okay? That became the place to be, and they put in a lot of time and effort, and we're very fortunate to have diverse cultures in our city. It makes for a much better, I don't like to say soup, I say stew, because you don't want everything to blend in. You want it to be different. You want to celebrate cultures. When people say, I don't see you as Asian American, or I don't see you as Black, they think that they're giving you a compliment, but that really is not a compliment. See you as an Asian American and celebrate you and enjoy you and look for your input and respect your diversity. That's what makes a city great. And so I do enjoy conversations with you. I think that you are a great addition to this board. And I like I said, I'm prejudiced because I have Asian Americans in my family. So I don't, when I hear people say, well, they didn't speak up. I've heard some people, oh, they didn't speak up for us. And that's just not true. When all the stuff was going on, I looked on the Facebook and there were Asian American kids, Black Lives Matter, all over the world. So we all have to fight together. We have to fight prejudice. We can't be quiet about it. And I don't care who is uncomfortable about it, from when it's in this board of aldermen. When I make people uncomfortable, when I talk about that you racially gerrymandered me, that is what happened. You have to fight that. You can't think that's all right. If you think that's all right, you are part of the problem. And that is for Asian Americans, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, whatever. But in this month of Asian American history, I celebrate you and your fellow Asian Americans. And I thank you for the resolution, and thank you for the opportunity to be a part of it.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Alderman from the 24th, you recognize the close.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we adopt Resolution 24.
It's been moved by the Alderman 24th and seconded by the Alderman from the 12th that we second read and finally adopt resolution number 24. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Miscellaneous unfinished business.
We have none.
Announcements.
Monday, May 31st, 2021, the Board of Aldermen will be closed in honor of Memorial Day. Wednesday, June 2nd, 2021, Ways and Means will have a meeting at 9 a.m. via webinar. Thursday, June 3rd, 2021, Personnel Committee will have a meeting at 9 a.m. via webinar. Ways and Means will have a meeting at 11 a.m. via webinar. Friday, June 4th, 2021, full board meeting, 10 a.m. via webinar. Saturday, June 5th, 2021, Ways and Means will have a meeting at 10 a.m. via webinar. That is the extent of the announcements.
Alderman from the 18th, you're recognized. Alderman from the 18th. Alderman from the 26th.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I just want to take a second to wish our very own Lamisha Bird a happy golden birthday this weekend. She probably did not want me to get on here and say this, but I promised her that I am going to make sure she celebrates the golden birthday and celebrate herself. I appreciate you, Lamisha. Thank you for all you do. And please enjoy your birthday on Saturday.
I'm sorry, Mr. President, I was muted. May I make my announcement now?
Yes, but hold on for a second. Let's give Ms. Bird a round of applause. Congratulations on her. Thank you, Alderman from the 26th. Alderman from the 18th.
This coming Saturday, the Academy Sherman Park Neighborhood Association, which is located in the 18th Ward, is having a cleanup. The cleanup will be in the 5000 on the Hodeman tracks. That's where we will meet. So I hope to see you there this coming Saturday so we can make our ward even more beautiful. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. All from 13th. All from 13th.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. Some of the members of the 13th Ward have put together a litter eliminator group. So this Saturday, it'll be doing the on and off ramps to I-55 on the Bates entrance, and then in the 500 block of the Bates and Bellerive alley. So those ramps and that alley isn't in the ward, but I do appreciate the members of the 13th for getting out there and spreading out the cleanup love.
All right, excellent. Congratulations, and tell them thank you. Alderwoman from the 8th.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I just want to make one final announcement. This is the last 5 days of the FEMA vaccination event at the Dome. They are offering first and second doses of the Pfizer vaccine and the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So if you have not received a vaccine, or if anyone in your household or in your communities still needs a vaccine, this closes on June 1st. So they're available 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. At entrance C of the Dome downtown. There's free parking that's marked for you. There are shuttles from the parking lot. And they're also offering vouchers on the Metro. If you take the Metro there, let them know. They will give you Metro passes to get back home again. But please do escalate that, or promote this as we reach these last few days here. This is a really great opportunity, and I know our health department is continuing to work hard as well to get vaccination events out into the community. So looking forward to that, but we need to still get these vaccination numbers up. So over the weekend, Johnson & Johnson's one and done, so go ahead and go get yourself vaccinated. Thank you.
Thank you for that announcement. One from the 14th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have two announcements. I would like people to remember that, Memorial Day is not the kickoff of summer, that it is to honor our veterans that have served. I would like to, I know Alderman Boyd is a vet. I don't know if anyone else on the board is, but I would like to recognize him and thank him for his service, and thank all those veterans that have served and are serving in the United States armed services. So remember, and if you get a chance, get down there to the wonderful, our cemetery, JB Cemetery, which the Boy Scouts will be down there placing flags and have a commemorative ceremony.
Yes,
one more announcement. This evening, the 14th Ward is hosting a town hall with the state representatives from the 81st and 82nd, Alderwoman Behringer and Alderman Butts at the Bevo at 6:30. So come on by and get updated on what's going on in Jeff City. Okay, that's all I have.
All right, thank you. And another veteran was our colleague that we lost, Larry Arnowitz was also a veteran. Alderman from the 24th.
Thank you, Mr. President, colleagues. I wanted to echo the sentiment of my colleague from the 14th. Although this is, the first time that a whole lot of people will be gathering together outdoors, barbecuing, doing all that. That's great, and make sure that you are safe and driving sober with all that, but also make sure that you take just a little time out of your day on Monday to remember why you have the day off, and remember your neighbors, all of our neighbors and all of our countrymen's sacrifice. It's a day for solemn reflection on why we have the freedoms that we have. It's not just a day to barbecue. So please do take a moment to reflect on what made what we're doing here all possible. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Alderman. Alderman from the 19th.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I just wanted to also echo my respect and recognition to those who served and lost their lives on our behalf. Also, Alderman Cone is a former Marine.
Alderman from the 25th, yeah.
Yeah, so we don't want to forget him. But I also wanted to just give a public thank you to all who organized the soccer event that was held at Cartner Ritter last Saturday for hundreds of young children to be introduced to the game. And I was invited to come, but I had no idea it was going to be an event like it was. It was very large, very inclusive. People from all over the city came together through relationships and made that possible. And so I just wanted to thank them, and most especially thank New Dimensions, which is the nonprofit, and Wesley House. So it was quite an event. It looked like an international affair. Children from all over and every nationality participated. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Alderman from the right.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I also just wanted to recognize that in the last week, our colleague from the 28th Ward celebrated a birthday. So happy birthday to our colleague from the 28th.
Tried to get away unnoticed. Let's clap for her real loud. Happy birthday, Alderman from the 28th. We're going to do you a favor. We're not going to sing because, you know, with my allergies, I know I can be off key. Alderman from the 2nd.
Oops. Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I just want to tell my oldest, Tyler Danielle Middlebrook, happy birthday. She will turn 28 on the 28th of this month. She is such a wonderful, smart, intelligent young lady. And her husband are expecting their first child due this July. So I just want to tell the mommy to be happy birthday.
Well, happy birthday, Tyler Danielle Middlebrook. Happy birthday. And congratulations also. And congratulations to you also, Alderman Middlebrook, going to be a new grandparent. Any further announcements? Alderman from the 10th, you're recognized on the motion to excuse.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I move to excuse all the people from the 7th and the 25th for necessary absence.
Second.
Moved by the Alderman from the 10th, seconded by the Alderman from 22nd. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
No.
A little late. Now, let's get this one right, because we're getting ready to go into Memorial Day. It's been a great meeting. Alderman from the 10th, you recognize on the motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I move that we adjourn to June 4th, 2021 at 10 a.m.
Moved by the Alderman from the 10th, seconded by the Alderman from the 12th. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed?
No.
A little late. We stand adjourned. Thank you all. Have a safe weekend and a great Memorial Day.